Hey everybody, I'm Coulter Hickok, and I'm joined here with a brand new guest on, so please introduce yourself, who you are, where are you from, and what do you do here at DSU?
Hi, I'm Kori Nagel. I am from Center, North Dakota, and I am a thrower on the women's track and field team.
Well, thank you very much for coming on here. You don't have the most conventional way of going to DSU. Do you want to talk about your journey to DSU?
Yeah, so I was originally recruited to Minot State by Coach Teandra, and over the summer Minot State went through some coaching changes, and he eventually found his way here, and then I followed him here as well.
I mean, all right. I mean, is there anything a little different, or talk about your recruiting process? Just talking with Whitcott maybe, or maybe you heard that Coach Gus got the job here, and then maybe you're like, maybe I want to go throw at DSU. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so I never, even like in high school, I never thought I was going to end up at DSU. It was pretty much like Minot from the start. So yeah, so once I found out Coach Gus was coming to Dickinson, I didn't really have to think very hard whether or not I was going to come. I just made that decision to come, and then I got a call from Coach Whitcott. And yeah, I enjoyed talking with him. He seemed, I just enjoyed talking with him. The program seemed really well put together, and so I knew that DSU would be a good fit for me. And
then was that an easier transition because Coach Gus and you kind of came together? So that integration process easier for you? Yeah,
for sure. It always helps, I think, coming with somebody that you know. And so I also had a teammate, Tori, that came with as well. So that definitely made the transition easier.
Hey, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
I already know some people when you're over here.
Yep.
So we ask some fun questions when we do the show, and I got to ask you, if you could pick any superpower, what would it be and why?
Probably a shapeshifter, because you can pretty much shift into whatever you want. Yeah.
Solid answer. I mean, I kind of understand that, because like telekinesis, like you kind of have every power. So I think that would be mine.
Yep.
And then another fun question. So when I say, what is your biggest hot take, I'm really meaning like, what opinion do you feel like that's a hill you're willing to die on that most people might not agree with you on? What's your biggest hot take?
I don't care what anybody says, a discus is not a Frisbee. Not even close. Not even close.
Hot take right there. Discus, not a Frisbee. I can agree with that. Sorry, I could definitely agree with that. I'm so choked up about it because I also agree that a discus is not a Frisbee.
Not even close.
Had to really show my passion with that solid cough right there. So because you are involved in the track team, give us a little bit of a recap for the indoor season.
So the first meet, I kind of came in with the goal that I wanted to break the school record and qualify for nationals in shot put for sure. Unfortunately, I was able to do that the first meet, and I've continued to kind of I've been consistent around my shot put mark the last few meets, and then finally this last weekend is when I finally hit the mark that I kind of have been looking for to kind of move forward with that. I know there's a bigger throw in the tank, so I want to hit that eventually. That's for shot, but at least like for weight, I haven't quite hit the marks that I've wanted to so far, but fortunately we have a few more meets yet, so.
Yeah, I mean, you've kind of been killing it along with like Renzi Rosinski for the women's side of things. So let me just say, I have something super long to say. Already a solid start to your career as a Blue Hawk and already an athlete of the week for the North Star. Congratulations to that. And you broke the school indoor shot put record with a 14.06 meter, and that's 46 feet if you are incompetent like I am. I had to look that up. So that was a 14.06 meter throw in qualifying for the indoor nationals at B standard. So you've kind of already said this, but what more are you looking forward to in your goals?
For indoor, I would love to come out a national champion for shot put. I think that would be the cherry on top to the indoor season. I would like to try to become an All-American in the weight throw as well, but we'll see how the rest of the meets go with that. For outdoor, yeah, I would like to try to make nationals for all three of my outdoor events as well, and kind of see where the outdoor season takes us from there.
And then I looked this up for it before the interview. At Minot State, you were already a national qualifier. Is that correct? For the discus?
Yep.
I mean, you're just kind of having a lot of success so far in your collegiate career. And then going from indoor to outdoor, what is your process like?
Well, I know, so going to nationals will add on a couple weeks to my season, so I'm not going to quite have a full month to transition from indoor to outdoor. I think there's like 2 weeks in there between indoor nationals, and our first outdoor meet. Probably pick up the hammer and the discus as soon as possible to try to get those put together in time for the first meet.
Not a javelin thrower?
Nope, not a javelin thrower. I hurt my shoulder in high school, so that's a no. That's a no for me.
So, hot button issue right here. Are javelin throwers, or are they just somebody who can run really fast and throw a stick?
I mean, you definitely have to be athletic to throw. You definitely have to be athletic to throw a javelin. They're probably a thrower. They're not like I remember a meet in high school, one of the people who were running it was like, the power throwers are the strong people, or the javelin throwers are like the pretty people. I don't know what he meant by that, but.
So I understand, I can attest to that, because in high school we had to do a weight relay where it was called the weight man relay, and it was all of the throwers that we had. They had to run a 4x4 in a high school meet, and there was one team that we competed against that had just all of their javelin throwers, and they were all just super skinny. They were running like the 100, the 200, and we ended up losing that race apparently just because we weren't fast, but all just heavy guys, and yeah, I understand that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I know. We had a throwers relay in high school too, and there would be people like sprinters and stuff that would just throw discus just for one day, just so that they could join the throwers relay. So, yeah, frustrating, but
it is very frustrating. So let's go back into track a little bit. Are there any pre-meet traditions that you have? If there's some that's secret, you don't have to share them, but what pre-meet traditions do you have?
Yeah, I usually like to get a decent amount of sleep the night before. I think that's probably my biggest thing. And I guess like music-wise, I love listening to music right before I throw. I don't really have a particular song that I always listen to, but it's usually something along those lines.
All right, it's always solid.
Yeah.
And then, so Kori, we ask this to everybody who comes on the show. What does DSU mean to you?
I haven't been here for very long, but I would say DSU has been pretty much like a big family to me. There's a lot of kids from small towns that come to DSU, which it wasn't really like that in Minot. There's a lot of out-of-state kids, and I noticed that there's a lot of local kids here at DSU, so I appreciate that fact as well.
I mean, it is always nice. I mean, you're not that far away from center,
right?
And you get I was talking to Abby Kloop before this interview, and she was like, yeah, I knew Kori in high school.
Yeah, I threw against her.
So that is pretty awesome that you have already known some people and you've already been hugely successful here at DSU. So Kori, thank you very much for coming on today. It's been awesome.
Thanks so much for having me.
We'll be right back with an on-campus interview right after this. That was great. Hey everybody, you probably just saw me in the studio, but I'm here with two brand new guests, one who's been on before, but another one who hasn't been on before. So please introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, and what do you do here at DSU?
My name is Dalton Herbst. I'm a fifth-year senior. I cheerlead here, and I graduated just last month with a Bachelor of Science in Psychology and Associates in Exercise Science.
Hello, my name is Teandra Schneider. I do cheer at Dickinson State University, and my major is University Studies and moving on to business.
Very nice. Happy to have you guys here. And I understand you guys are going to be on the road. I mean, we got some big cheerleading news. Where are you guys headed to?
Orange City, Iowa.
I mean, that's probably the same answer you're going to give. Yeah. So being local athletes, how does this help the transition to college? I know you're not technically local, but I mean Baker, Montana. We got the Baker, Montana pipeline.
I suppose. One more time. What would you ask?
Being local athletes, how does this help the transition to college?
Oh, being local. Dickinson's very similar to Baker. Obviously, Baker's a very small town, but Dickinson's also, small town. Obviously bigger than Baker, but still still feels very home-like. Relationships are very personal. So, just with that right there, with the close-knit family connection, feels a lot like home.
I would relate it to the high school. It's really cool that we get to influence the younger athletes coming up into the program. Hopefully, from Dickinson High School, being local and everything. I would say the community is very great. Being so small, also being so widespread and homely.
All right. So at DSU, cheer is never a newer program. Sorry, I couldn't read with your handwriting, Dallas. Cheer is a newer program. Does the adversity motivate you?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like we're definitely a new program. We definitely have something to prove, a little chip on our shoulders. We took 4th last year at Nationals, but I feel like we got our eyes on bigger and better things this year, so we're just got to go out there and show them what we got, really.
I would say the same thing. I would say there's been a lot of change since the beginning of the program. I've seen it from day one all the way to now, and I'd say there's been a huge change in athletes and the way the scholarships and everything work. It's really just a great experience, and I'm glad to be here.
I know the cheer is kind of really tight-knit. I mean, you guys do other things as well, maybe some more on esports, but as the close-knit family, do you guys have any pre-meet traditions that you guys are happy to share, or if we've got to keep them secret, just tell me that.
I suppose we definitely have a few that we definitely keep secret, just like any other sport, very superstitious about it. I feel like I'm a very superstitious man. I feel like a lot of athletes are, but as far as family things that we do, I mean, I don't know. We always, we got certain breaks. I mean, I do a certain break after every break. That seems to give us some type of bond. But as far as pre-meet, I feel like we got to keep those pre-meet ones pretty secret.
I'd say we do a lot of rehab for sure, along with what Dalton's saying. We have a little break that we do every time before we go out and before we leave. We all just bond with each other as much as possible, because without that close family knit, we can't get on the mat and do the job we need to do without being as close as we are.
Very nice. So coming off a national appearance, what have you guys learned? What are you guys hoping to bring to this upcoming national season?
Obviously last year was a good year for us. We took in a lot, learned a lot. We're trying to bring in same family approach as we did last season. We got a different group, obviously, a lot of the same people, a lot of returners, and we're thankful for that. But we're still in the process of feeling each other out, making things work 100% of the time. Cheer is the ultimate team sport. You need to be fully committed at all times, and if everyone's not on the same page, nothing will ever work. And we're still definitely working on that, getting on the same page at all times. But it's definitely coming together, to say the least.
I definitely say we've also learned a lot from last year to this year. This year we're hoping to hit 0 at every competition. Hitting 0 means that you do not have a failure or a touchdown at a competition, and we're hoping to stay in a higher point range so we are in the line of getting a bid for nationals and such. We have to make it through all of these first competitions first before we can even make it to nationals. National is the main goal, and getting a medal or a award at nationals is the goal, but right now we're really focused on those first competitions, I would say, and just nailing them in the best way we possibly can.
So you said touchdowns. So like football, touchdowns are a good thing, but you're saying in cheer it's a bad thing?
Yeah.
You're all good. So touchdowns in football good, touchdowns in cheer bad.
Yeah, so what a touchdown is when somebody is tumbling or there's a stunt going and somebody possibly hits the ground with their hand in the way they're not supposed to. So we avoid that, because when we get that, it can mean a deduction, which takes away from our overall score, which we're trying to stay in that upper range.
Very nice. So kind of a follow-up, this mainly is towards like individual. I know cheer, very big family, but as individuals, what are your guys' particular goals?
Well, there's definitely certain parts of the routine that we're doing this year that are difficult for me that I definitely got to clean up. I mean, if we're getting into really logistics of it, I got 2 handsprings through a layout that are looking a little shaky right now. I definitely got to clean those bad boys up. Like I tell the team all the time, the biggest room in the world is a room for improvement. We all got a little something that we got to get better.
Like
so that's probably where area I'm lacking a little bit. But as far as goals, individual, like I said, you got to clean that up, make it to natties, and I mean, in an ideal world, we come home with a natty banner. So.
Yes, I would say my individual goals are likewise with Dalton's. My main goal is to be a good team leader and help my team through this hard transition, because we do have a bunch of new people, so it'll be very different hitting the floor for the first time, because we can practice however much we want, but we're going to perform differently with all that adrenaline when it comes down to it. So my main goal is to be a good team leader and do the best I can and push myself the hardest so they can see what it needs to look like and everything.
Awesome. So we asked this, our last question, to everybody who comes on Hawk Talk. Dalton, I believe you have answered this before already, but I'm curious to see what you say again. What does DSU mean to you?
Sheesh, as a fifth year now, DSU means, sheesh, almost, I mean, a little cheesy, but almost the world to me. Dickinson definitely is a second home. I feel like I can come back here at any given day and be welcomed with open arms with people at the facility, the coaching staff, sheesh, all the way to the admission center. You know, I know people all the way down the branch, people that I thought that I would never get to meet, and relationships that never we get established when I was coming here as a freshman. I love Dickinson. I'll continue to love Dickinson. I'll always love Dickinson. This place will always, excuse me, always be very special to me.
I'm sorry, I thought you were going to get a little
No.
choked up right there.
Unfortunately not, no.
Oh,
But
okay.
It is very personal to me in that way, too. It is worth getting emotional about.
I got you.
DSU to me, it means family. I've never had instructors or my college friends or college instructors like reach out the way that they can and help me get through things. School's never been my strong suit, so I feel the instructors and the coaches always push me to do my best, and the family and the community and how close-knit everything is. All athletes show up to other athletes' games or performances and stuff like that, and that is something you don't see at a lot of places, so I'm really proud to be here.
It's awesome. So I understand we have a home virtual duel coming up on February 6th. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
I mean, how can people watch it? Are we allowed to go and actually to the gym and watch it?
Yes, absolutely. It is a virtual meet, but, I mean, everything's virtual nowadays, right? I mean, it's got to be COVID. You love it. But, no, you can absolutely come to the meet. We would love it if you did. And if you can make it, hence why it is virtual for anyone that's too far away to travel to attend it virtually. So.
Perfect. So if you guys want to, make sure you follow our social media pages. We're going to try and post that, our virtual DSU cheer meet. I believe it's against Waldorf. Am I correct on that?
Yep.
All right. Perfect. Well, guys, thank you very much for coming on here. Dalton, thank you very much for coming on again. Thank you. Teandra, thanks. It was awesome.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Back to me in the studio. Thanks, me, for the on-campus interview. It's me back in the studio. Let's talk about what happened recently at DSU. So we had wrestling. They had the Tyler Plummer Classic over the weekend. We had Wyatt Engwich, I believe that's how you say his last name. Sorry if I butcher it. He won the 125 weight class, and he won the coveted belt buckle that signifies the victory over at the Tyler Plummer Classic. Then we had Con Spielman. He also won in the 197. He also gets a belt buckle. Handful of other Hawks placed as well. It was also the first annual alumni weekend for wrestling. Very successful. We had a lot of Hawk faithful show up, whoever was involved with that. If they were an alumni, maybe they just wanted to come hang out. We had a lot of Blue Hawk faithful over at the social. Then next week, the Hawks are headed to the Sioux City Open in Sioux City, Iowa. Basketball, it was also the second annual basketball alumni weekend. On that weekend, the Hawks went 3-1. Girls went 1-1, guys went 2-0. On Friday night of the girls game versus presentation, it was the Janae Moore game. That was also really fun to be at. Along with the Janae Moore night, it was the second annual alumni weekend. Just said that. Had a lot of the Blue Hawk faithful, as I previously stated. They all showed up and enjoyed the festivities. Cheer, finally in competition season, officially started their competitive season. I talked with Dalton Herbst and Teandra Schneider, as you just saw me in that on-campus interview. Hawks are now 2-0 of wins, or 2-0 off. No, Hawks are now 2-0 coming off wins. Next to my words right there, with a duel versus Northwestern, and they had a meet with Northwestern along with a handful of other schools in the GPAC. Hawks are currently ranked 2nd overall in the NAIA in cheer. We'll next be at home on February 6th in a meet against Waldorf and St. Mary. That is technically a virtual meet, but if you are interested in coming to the Scott Gym, watching it in person, you can make sure you do, or you can do that. Or if you are unable to but still want to watch and see what's going on, make sure you follow the DSU Blue Hawks site to learn how you can actually watch it. Or you can also follow Blue Hawk Cheer. They're on all social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Check it out. Then track, we just talked with Kori. Hawks went to UND over the weekend. We had Galen Brantley. He just secured a spot in the Indoor Nationals, making him ranked number 11th overall in the NAIA. Renzi Rosinski just set a new North Star record in the 60-meter hurdles with a run of 8.65 seconds. Almost missed the decimal. Then Kori Nagel, just talked with her. She breaks the indoor record for shot put for DSU and is now currently ranked number 2 in the NAIA. Hawks will next be headed to Fargo for the Bison Open. Hawks were busy this weekend. Let me tell you, Hawks conquered. Hawks ruled the day. Thank you for all of fans, social medias. Make sure you follow them. We got at DSU Foundation on Instagram, at DSU Heritage on Twitter. Thank you to fans, sponsors, anybody who makes the show possible. Thank you to Trace, always being a great guy. Thank you to Ron. You guys kill it every week. I think that's it. Thanks to me for the on-campus interview. Forgot to mention that. Future me will see this and you'll be like, oh yeah, no problem, Coulter. But until next week, Hawks are up.